Hey, welcome to Board Game. Today in my hand is the Warhammer 40,000 White Scars Intercessor figure from Bandai. Now, we've done an unboxing of all the releases so far, the Imperial Fist, the Salamander, and the Ultramarine figure. Not expecting much different from the White Scars figure. But you know what? We'll open up. We're going to show it off because I'm kind of interested in seeing what details we have with this one. GW has been licensing a lot lately as far as figures. We're seeing tons of releases, and it's interesting to see the different quality. I myself am not the biggest fan of the Bandai release. I know there's some who really love them, but I myself am kind of eh. I do like this art. This is pretty cool back art for the package. Let's check out the figure itself in the package. Let's do some opening up. The packaging is nice. I'm going to give Bandai a lot of credit on that. The boxes look great. They're really cool for display. The figures themselves are nice for display. I just think that they, for the price, for what you get, there are way better options out there that are a hell of a lot cheaper. There we go. We do unboxings. We do real unboxings. We don't do the pre-shot stuff. Okay, so we get some extra weapon or some extra hands. We get 4 extra hands with this. They like their tape here. And we're gonna show off some hands because, of course, we want the weapons. All right, let's do our stand test. Well, let's first put on the backpack and then do stand test. We haven't had too much problems with a lot of these. All right, there we go. Not bad. Let's do our usual movements. Foot, pivot side to side, up and down a little bit. Toes do move. Knee, it's got some good movement. I mean, articulation was not my issue of this figure, this line. We get the hip. Kind of see the general movement. That does move side to side. Waist, we get movement up and down. The articulation I thought is really good. They do the shoulders, I think, really well. Elbow, and then wrist movement is really good. It's funny enough. All right, so we're gonna get to the second. Head up and down. Weapon is pretty similar. I think this is the exact same of everything else. We get a little bit of silver, and it's not bad. I mean, you get a little bit of detail on the gun. And, of course, a knife to go with everything. Again, some shading there. So, all right. I actually have to say, out of all the releases, this might be my favorite one. I actually think a lot of my issues with the line are kind of resolved on this one. There is some shading. Like, it's not just straight white. We can see around the shoulders. We can see the back. You can see in the helmet, there's a little bit of shading. It's just not a straight color. I thought maybe the I'm kind of looking at it. The Primaris Marine or the Ultramarine had it too. The Salamanders had it too. They didn't stand out to me. I mean, the coloring is decent, but for some reason I think it looks a lot better on the White Scar. The back logo looks really good. I still have issues in that the figure itself just feels very light. It feels very loose, like not joint loose, but just it feels cheap. And it might sound weird to say, but like when you compare it to something like the McFarlane toy figure, and I know some people have a lot of issues with the McFarlane toy. The McFarlane toy feels like I could damage. Like I can take it, wind it up, and crack someone over the head, and they're going to feel it. It's just way too light of a plastic for me, and it's just probably a preference, and it's totally cool. But for me, for like $100, I'm hoping that I would get a little bit more. I think my other issue is things like this. Like the arm pops off really, really easy. The shoulders were popping off a lot on the other figures that I had as well. You know, it's a constant thing with these and a pretty consistent one. So like if you're cool with it, fine. For me, I thought it doesn't feel all that great. The details, ooh, that's interesting. All right, well, it looks like my figure is busted. All right, well, so this is interesting. On here, on the back, the figure actually has a broken joint, or a panel that's missing, which is really, really interesting. That's kind of disappointing, not cool, and really kind of a bummer for the amount of money spent on this. This is the first figure that I have been missing that. So let's go and look at one of the other figures to see if that's there. Yep, they all have it. So I actually got a busted figure, it looks like. So this is going to be a big question of what will GW do when I get this. So we're going to go reach out to GW's customer service, which tends to be really, really good, to see what happens with this. That's kind of a bummer. So this definitely brings things down, because these aren't cheap. Like, this is not a cheap figure, and for it to like have a part missing like that is just not cool. And I actually don't know how the hell you would actually fix and replace that. So that's kind of sucks, honestly. That's a really big disappointment. So, yeah, I kind of stand by it. I would rather spend the $20 for the McFarlane figures than the $100 for this. I'd rather have 5 of the McFarlane figures. I'd rather paint mine up with those than kind of having this like plasticky thing. It just kind of feels like cheap plastic, like a model that, you know, you're just supposed to kind of put up on the shelf, and that's that. So really bumming about the broken piece. Like really, really bummed about that. That kind of stinks. So it is what it is. And the funniest is, out of all of them, I think I like this one the best. I just think the shading's really good. The helmet's kind of cool with the red, the chest, everything, the back. Like, this is the best of the bunch, I think, even though it's the exact same thing, literally just recolored. But, you know, there's a piece missing, which kind of stinks. So that's a bummer. We'll see. We got, one more figure coming out. They got the Sergeant coming up, and then we have all the Joy Toy figures coming, which I'm super excited about for that. So we're hoping that the Joy Toys are going to be everything I'm looking for in figures and bring it all together. We'll see. Yeah, so if you want the latest Games Workshop news, Warhammer 40K news, check us out every single day at BoardGameToday.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, all at Board Game Today, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep rolling those dice. Get your game on. Hey, thanks for watching Board Game Today. We always appreciate your views and your support, but there are so many ways for you to support our site. Not only can you do it right here on video, but you can go and check us out at BoardGameToday.com, where we have more news, reviews, interviews, everything you could ever want. But since you're here, if you could, you can always give us a like, subscribe, or share our videos, or watch something else. Is always much appreciated, and get your game on.